I just wanted to be the generation that broke that. And what was required is the pain had to be deep enough. Hey there, I'm Martell, serial entrepreneur, investor, and creator of SaaS Academy. In this episode, I'm gonna share with you something that's like super near and dear to my heart, which is the decision to quit drinking. Now, I don't know if you've ever struggled with drinking. You don't even have to kind of identify as an alcoholic, but maybe you've had moments where you've done things that you weren't proud of, or you just feel like it's getting in the way of you taking care of your health or your family or relationships. And you've thought about it. Maybe you've done a few days where you didn't drink, or a week or a month or sober October. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to share with you my personal decision and journey for why I believe that quitting drinking almost a decade ago was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Now, what happened is at the time I was super busy with my startup, and I had started this new company, and I wanted to make it like one of the best companies ever. In the valley where I was living at the time, San Francisco, it's about building a $1 billion company, right? And it was the early days, and I really wanted to raise a bunch of capital and build this game-changing platform. And I was going out and I was meeting with investors, and I was out being very social. And anything, if you're out there being social, you're out having dinner, you're having drinks, etc. Now, a lot of people may know the story, my story, personal journey of being addicted to drugs as a teenager and going to rehab. And that's where I discovered programming, and it literally saved my life. And for a while I didn't drink, and then just started slowly, casually. And the challenge with me, and the reason why I don't gamble, I don't play video games, I don't do a lot of stuff, is I have an addictive personality. I know that of myself. In case you're a friend of mine and you're like, I wonder if Dan knows he's intense about everything he does. I know that. It's why I choose a handful of things that I do, like business, and I go all in, right? Or triathlons and go all in, or, trying to be a great dad or be a great husband. And what happened is there was this period in my life where, Renee got pregnant, and it was the first few months, and she obviously quit drinking, but I kept drinking. And it was causing a lot of friction in our life, for a lot of people, alcohol doesn't do well with me. When I drink a lot, and then the next day is a write-off. Sometimes a weekend could be a write-off, right? And I just didn't want that for my life. But the real moment that most people don't know is we actually went to Bahamas. I wanted to give Renee a break. She was pregnant, she wasn't feeling great, and I had this opportunity through one of my investors to go stay at this incredible property. And we flew all the way to, I think it was Exuma in the Bahamas, went to this resort. I mean, just out of the park, incredible. 5-star, 6-star hotel. Every, villa came with its own golf cart, beautiful white sandy beaches, blue ocean, turquoise water, just incredible. And first thing I did, went to the liquor store and bought the supplies for a week. And after the first night, I was not proud of the way I behaved, right? There was no need for it. I'm there with my wife. I wanna celebrate our life together. I want to give her a break, and all I'm doing is creating stress, and she's just upset with me. And I remember in this moment of looking at all the things that have happened in my life that were negative based on my drinking over the decades that had gone by since I was a teenager. And I just realized I'm about to bring a child into this world. And my mom's an alcoholic, okay? She still is. She's been sober. She's amazing. I love my mom, but I had that in my life, in my family, and I struggled with it. And when I projected out into the future, and I thought of where my life is now and the possibility of me making a decision, because things were going great. Business was going great. Financials were going great. Health wasn't awesome, but, about to have a family, startups doing good. I thought to myself, there's a high probability that over the next 25 years, if I keep drinking, that I will probably do something that causes a lot of pain to my life. Make a decision to get in a car when I probably shouldn't, or, get caught doing something that's compromising or whatever it is. Just like be at the wrong place, the wrong people, get in a fight, whatever it is. And I just thought to myself, like, I don't want to bring that level of pain into my family. I just don't want that to be me. And I made a decision. I remember the moment it happened, I was super drunk and I just said, I'm done. And Renee looked at me and she goes, sure. And literally probably had zero belief that it would ever happen. Like she's like, yeah, sure, I've heard this before. He's gonna wake up tomorrow, he's gonna forget about this, and he's gonna keep going. And fast forward to today, I know I shared with it earlier, but it's been almost 10 years, okay? Next May will be 10 years that I have not touched a drop of alcohol. It's just not part of who I am. And I share that story because there's some beliefs that I think if you're about to go on this, I don't care if it's, any other addiction or just wanting to improve your life, that I think could really serve, because I knew that was true for me. And the first one is, it's got to be deep enough. The pain has to be deep enough. There needs to be enough of you're in a hole and there's pain that you want to change. And I tell this to parents all the time. They're like, oh, my kid's in trouble with the law and I think they're vaping and I think they're doing drugs, they're doing all this stuff. And I was like, does he want to change? Does she want to change? Because here's what I've learned. If the pain isn't deep enough, then there's not enough motivation to stop. A lot of people are just living life and it's okay because it's not painful. The people that end up bankrupt, in a car accident, scared, medical, health, like there's a reason why all these stories of incredible transformation started from a moment of despair, is because sometimes you need that deep pain to be the ignition, the light, the fuel to get you on a different path. You need to have your reality shaken, right? And just like, whoa, what's going on? Like, oh, that's not what I want for my life. Why am I doing this? And I owe my son Max, my firstborn, like, I don't think, if I didn't look at the potential pain that I could create in his life and propagate that normalcy, right? Like this, my mom's parents were alcoholic and probably her parents were alcoholics. And all I know is that in my family, in my personal family, my kids won't experience that. They'll deal with other challenges because so is parenting, but I just wanted to be the generation that broke that. And what was required is the pain had to be deep enough. So sometimes the reason why it's not deep enough is you haven't framed it properly. You keep giving yourself an out. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's okay. Or it could be worse, or all these things. And that's your story. That's your journey to figure out. I would encourage you to allow it to sit in the pain and don't be so quick to dismiss it. The second thing is, I just had to figure out today. I think my wife was like, sure, he's quit. Seen that before. But all I told myself is, just got to make it through today. Just today. That's it. I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I don't have to worry about next week. I don't even have to worry about next month. I don't have to worry if people think I'm going to quit or not or stay sober. I don't care. I'm just going to focus on today. And that made it so much easier. And I got that from Alcoholics Anonymous. I just got to be sober for today, right? And when I do my triathlons, I've completed almost 5 Ironmans in my life. And when I do these long distance races, running, for 42 kilometers after biking 180 kilometers, after swimming 4 kilometers, your body's depleted and all I'm looking for is the next telephone pole. I'm not thinking about how many kilometers I got left. I'm not thinking about anything more than the next telephone pole. I'm literally locked in. I see the telephone pole and I'm going to run to it. And at that moment, I get to decide, do I want to do it again? Do I want to go for the next telephone pole moment? And the answer is yes. But I don't overwhelm myself. The same thing with swimming recently. I decided to do, originally I thought it was a 5.5 kilometer swim. It turned out to be 6.5 kilometers. It took me 3 hours to do. Longest swim I've ever done in my life. It was across the widest point of this lake I live on called Okanagan Lake. And I just kept saying another 500 meters. I'd look at my watch and I'd just say, look, I'm just committing. My buddy David was on the boat and I was swearing, I was upset, my back was starting to cramp. And I was just like, 500 meters, that's it. And we'll reassess. But then eventually I was like, no, we're gonna finish this. It's almost like the momentum starts to get built. And once I got more than halfway across the lake, then it was like, no, for sure I'm gonna finish. I mean, even at the end of that swim, I said, hey, I'm not stopping anymore to have a conversation with you. I'm going the next 2,000 meters. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. We should talk. And I'm like, no, I'm going. I'm there. I'm committed. You build momentum, but it starts with just today, right? And then the other part that really helped me, I believe, stay sober, and I say this, and it's part of what this kind of belief is the identity shift, is I don't consider myself an alcoholic, right? And I know that works for a lot of people, but I just don't drink. I am not a drinker. I do not drink alcohol. So because of that, I don't have to like think about when I drive by a liquor store if I'm going to stop and buy some alcohol. I don't think about the things that would come with that. So a lot of people think, you know, when you ask them, it's like, oh, you don't drink. It's like, no, I quit. When people say you don't drink, I say, no, I just don't drink. I just don't. They say, why? I go, oh, I'm allergic to it. It all depends on the context, but I don't really care. I honestly like have gotten to the point where I'm so okay with it. It like doesn't matter. I have non-alcoholic versions of every drink that I enjoy. I know what they are. Most of the bars carry it. I ask them to make it, and it's just not an issue. And to me, those three beliefs that for change to occur, the pain has to be deep enough. The second one is I only have to worry about today or the next kilometer or the next telephone pole, right? And just focus on that and then reassess. And that's all I'm going to give myself the pressure of achieving. And then finally, the identity shift is that I didn't quit drinking. I don't drink. And that shift allows me to kind of re-internalize and recompartmentalize and restructure my beliefs around who I am and how I behave so that there's no effort, there's no pressure, there's no weight to those decisions. It's just who I am. You know, there's this great psychiatrist named Carl Jung. Okay, he's like the personality psychiatrist. A lot of people talk to him, and he has this great quote that I think summarizes what I just shared, which is, "I'm not what happens to me. I am what I choose to become." Right. So it's like, I'm not what happens to me, all like deciding that I shouldn't drink or that I want to, you know, that I'm overweight or I don't feel good about my situation or whatever it is. That's not who I am. It's who I choose to become, right? So a lot of people, I think they look at their history as their future. Like what they've done in their life at that point is who they will become. I am somebody who argues with people. I am angry. I am sad. I am an alcoholic. I'm a drug user. I'm a gambler. I'm an addict. I'm addicted to, you know, video games, porn, whatever it is. And what I've discovered is as a human, I'm a meaning maker, and I get to choose the meaning that I make for stuff. So I choose who I want to become if I give myself permission to do that. And that quote for me really summarizes this, is that we got the fuel with the deep enough pain, then the small commitments, but give yourself less pressure with the daily, you know, today only. And then finally, the identity shift of that person you want to become, so there's no effort involved because it's just who you are. You are an athlete. You are an epic husband. You are an incredible father. That's your identity. Adopt it. Put it on. Keep it on. Wear it. And eventually, like my buddy Todd Herman likes to say, the alter ego you're playing will eventually become the person who you are. And that is a powerful idea. So I hope this message finds you incredible and that it resonated with you. I want to hear from you below in the comments. Let me know what connected with you the most. And as per usual, I want to challenge you to live a bigger life and a bigger business. And I'll see you next Monday.